He looks absolutely awful. More photos are emerging of Donald Trump at that New Year's event at Mar-A-Lago where Vanilla Ice was performing with Ninja Turtles. That's what I guess they're doing at Mar-A-Lago. Donald Trump looks sickly. He couldn't even walk in a straight line. It's not looking good for Donald. Now he's claiming that he actually never had an MRI. He says what he really got was a CT scan. Oh, got it. X-rays versus magnets. Donald, you don't know the difference between an MRI? They're pretty noisy, by the way, and a CT scan, but in many ways, the fact that you claim you're getting a preventative CT scan, also something that doesn't exist, may be causing more red alarms to be raised about your deteriorating health. And just look at what Donald Trump's been posting from his Instagram account or from the official White House account, videos of sharks and videos of him walking around with J.D. Vance, videos of gorillas, then videos of him walking around with J.D. Vance saying, "Me and bro fixing America." Me and bro fixing America? Really? Here's the headline from Newsmax. State regime media Newsmax, which in many ways is more extreme than even Fox's. From Newsmax. Health insurance costs rise after Affordable Care Act subsidies expire. Yes. As a result of you and the MAGA Republicans, it's now official. The Affordable Care Act subsidies are not extended. Tens of millions of Americans will lose their health care. What about Donald Trump's claim that he's bringing down drug prices? Remember, Donald Trump says that he's got all the drug manufacturers agree to a MFV, a most favored MFN, a most favored nations provisions, that they will now be charging the lowest price they charge anywhere in the world for their drugs. Well, as Reuters reports, drug makers are raising their prices for 2026, and 350 medicines will see price increases despite this pressure from Trump. It ain't pressure from Trump, though, Reuters. It's just Donald Trump doing fake delusional deals that don't actually exist. Drug makers plan to raise U.S. prices on at least 350 branded medications, including vaccines against COVID, RSV, shingles, blockbuster cancer treatments, and more, as Trump claims he's lowering the prices. The number of price increases for 2026 is up from the same point last year, when drug makers unveiled plans for raises on more than 250 drugs. So, Donald, you know how you go 250%, 300%, 5,000%? Well, the numbers are actually going up. 250 drugs last year saw price hikes. Now it's 350. And the median of this year's price hike is around 4%. That's in line with 2025, although more drugs are getting those price hikes. So prices are going up. But you didn't need me to tell you that. I'll bring you the data, and Reuters did the study. I'll give you the data, but we all know that when we leave our home, that things are more expensive. You know who it's been a great year for? The billionaires, but not everybody else. The U.S. has over 900 billionaires, and their wealth soared by 18% to $6.9 trillion this year, UBS says, while the rest of Americans got screwed. While most Americans can't afford to pay their rent, cannot afford a home, if they're lucky enough to get a paycheck, they're psychologically tortured living paycheck to paycheck right now, as credit card debt and credit card debt-related defaults are at all-time highs, as student loan debt and student loan defaults are at all-time highs, which will lead to bad credit among people who won't be able to participate in the economy as a result of Trump's regime's actions. The billionaires are partying in St. Bart's right now. They all have their super yachts there, and they're laughing at the rest of the Americans. The billionaires are partying in St. Bart's with their tax cuts, their tax shelters, their $6.9 trillion in wealth. And how you even ask for a second, hey, can you fund healthcare? Can you pay your fair share? And then they throw a tantrum over that because they need 15 mansions and 8 private jets and 4 super yachts. because just, 5 is not enough for them. For them, money, it's like their own disease, and they're obsessed with it, and they want to see people suffer. They get off on the suffering of others. Now, did you see the swearing in of Zoran Mamdani in his inauguration speech? It was absolutely great. It was riveting. But one of the things I wanted to focus on there is Bernie Sanders' speech. I thought it was incredible. What a contrast between Donald Trump supporting the billionaires and screwing over everybody else. And I think Bernie Sanders came with a simple message, which is demanding that the wealthy and large corporations pay their fair share. That's not radical at all. What is radical is Donald Trump saying he wants to deport 21 million Americans. Want to see what's radical? Here's the social media post for the Homeland Security. Not even 21. Americans after 100 million deportations. That's what they're showing. That it's perfect. That the world will be great. With 100 million deportations, the peace of a nation no longer besieged by the third world. By the third world? As Brandon Friedman says, DHS now says it's aiming for 100 million deportations. And an amazing coincidence, there are 104 million Black and Hispanic people living in the U.S. right now. I think that's pretty radical and extreme right now. You want to know what I also think is radical and extreme behavior, and just horrific? Israel is barring 37 aid groups as the UK and EU warn of severe impact in Gaza. As Senator Chris Van Hollen says, among other outrageous actions being taken by Netanyahu government is banning over 30 aid organizations from Gaza, including CARE, Mercy Corps, Doctors Without Borders, from providing life-saving aid to people in Gaza. Another betrayal of humanity, and once again, the Trump regime says and does nothing. Actually, they do. They aid and abet it. They aid and abet the atrocities. Going back to Bernie Sanders, though, here he says demanding the wealthy and large corporations pay their fair share is not radical. Here, play this clip.
Demanding that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes is not radical. It is exactly the right thing to do.
Look, and the people of New York are behind this agenda. Contrast Donald Trump with Mamdani in terms of popularity right now. Take a look at the difference right here between Mamdani and Trump. Let's play this clip right here.
We're back. We're strong. I didn't think it could happen this fast. It's happening a lot faster than anybody would have thought possible. We have a lot of leaders here, great leaders like Tom Emmer. I watch him on television. He was talking about Somalia today. Where's Tom? He was talking about the Somalian population, and not very nicely. He was not nice. But that's okay. He doesn't mind. Where is Tom? Right here. He's great. What a great leader he is. We need you in Minnesota. We need you in Minnesota. He's actually in Washington. Big, powerful congressman. But you did a great job today, Tom. Thank you very much. We all appreciate it. We want to take back our country. Can you imagine? They stole $18 billion. That's just what we're learning about. That's peanuts. In California is worse. Illinois is worse. And sadly, New York is worse. A lot of other places. So we're going to get to the bottom of all of it. It was a giant scam. Other than that, we're going to have a great new year.
And again, you just look at all of Donald Trump's actions, more attacks on the Kennedy family that he's pointing at. At the same time, Tatiana Schlossberg tragically passed away, JFK's granddaughter. Donald Trump's posting attacks of the Kennedys and saying they don't raise money for the Kennedy Center. They never show up. The only Kennedy who's been there is the one on my cabinet. I mean, it's just post after post. And by the way, I'll leave you with this. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene and a lot of people who were former MAGA now saying this. Nationwide tax strike incoming. Millions of Americans refusing to pay taxes that are used to fund scams and foreign wars should wake Washington up. Tax revolt. Tax revolt. 2026 national tax revolt underway against Trump. Tax revolt against the federal government under Donald Trump. That's what they're calling for. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.